Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you're new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see, and I would love to know what you like to stitch and a little bit more about you. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I am so appreciative of each and every one of you, and I just get so excited to be able to talk about stitching. I'm not sure what I would do with my Friday mornings if I didn't have you in my videos. I know, I'd probably stitch, right? So I have a bit more than usual, just because first I stopped a little bit early of what I was going to show you last week, because I did have to film a day early last week, and I'll talk about in life why. And also AB Single from the magazine monthly cross stitch challenge started, and so I started doing those, and that's a specific project a day. So that also adds into my extra pieces of whips. So we've got lots to talk about. Do I have any new starts? Oh, I do. I have one new start, and I have no finishes. I have a few that are coming along, but nothing that is exactly at a finish yet. So we'll see what happens. Alrighty, so before I get started, I just want to send a big, huge congrats to Janet from Janet Jabber for 5 years of Flosstube. Janet, you brighten my Tuesdays. Oh, most of the time. Sometimes it's a day or two after, but most of the time you brighten my Tuesdays if I get a chance to watch you right away. And I am so thankful that you film each week. So thank you. And I can't wait to see, once you're retired, I just can't even imagine how much you're going to get accomplished. All right, so if you're not watching Janet, I will put her in the description box below under Flosstubers mentioned. She is wonderful, lovely presence if you have not seen her before. All righty, but it's 5 years, so odds are you might have. All right, let's just jump right in, because lots and lots and lots of projects to talk about. Now, some of these, when I near the end is when I started to do the AB Single ones. So all these before were not part of AB Single. They were either pulled for other things or just because. And I think this was just a because. This one is the Alice in Wonderland tree from Tiny Modernist. I watched Tiny Modernist's video. I'll link her down below. You know, she has videos where she talks about her new releases, and she was talking about her projects, and I am so excited about some of her releases. They looked a lot of fun. Oh, I should just leave that on there so I'm not clicking. Anyway, I'm already distracted. I'm filming early-ish. It's 8, I don't know, 30. So I'm going to do it before breakfast and all of that. So we'll see how I do. Sometimes I'm a bit scatterbrained. All right, so this is what I decided to choose. There is a stitch along. It's hashtag Tiny Alice Sal. This one will take me a while, but these do. Wizard of Oz took me at least a year, and I know that, I don't know if it was near the end or at some point, I was giving it quite a bit of focus to try to get it finished. It's so much fun, but there are so many pieces. Now I'm stitching this on the same fabric that I stitched Wizard of Oz, because I'm going to put them in the scrapbook as a 2-piece collection. And I know, like, I do like her, is it Edgar Allan Poetry? That would be a totally different vibe than these. So that would kind of go on its own if I do end up stitching that one. But that's what it looks like. Let me bring it up for a second. Now this is done, can you see the sparkle? This is done on an 18 count. It's an opal blue ice. And it's to dye for fabrics who are currently not hand dyeing, and we'll see. I know they had said they were taking this year off. We'll know more, obviously, at the end of the year if they're going to come back to hand dyeing. I do really like her fabrics. I kind of hope she does. Anyway, so there we go with that. I'm not doing any of the back stitch yet, so you'll notice there's no whiskers. Well, there's no clock face. I finished the clock. One day I just said, this week, I said, I just want to do some block stitching, and that most of that clock had to get done. So all of that will be back stitch. The stork, not the stork, the flamingo, those legs need to be back stitched. But I think this has more back stitch than Wizard of Oz, but I'm still going to keep it till the end and do it all at once. I found that worked the best for me, and then I'm not worrying about if I'm kind of messing up the back stitch at all. So I did finish, I think this side is completely done now. I had to, well, is there anything off of, there's tiny little bits off of these flowers then with some backstitch, and that gets repeated. Oh no, that one doesn't get repeated. These two flowers, there'll be a couple of little like bits that come off and then some backstitch. So that has to be done. But for the most part, this is completely done. I got that done and got that done. I came over here, plus I did the flower. So at this point, I have, oh, I do have one little thing. I have one little bit right here and then some flowers, these flowers underneath here. And I'll either do those or I'll bring this down, get that done, and keep working down. Because sometimes what I like to do with those small bits is, if there are other things, I'm seeing some flowers that are in the top of the next row that might be the same color. So sometimes once I've got that color out, I do like to keep going with it. But it's a lot of fun. It's very colorful. You do get little wins, little finishes. Oh, no. I was going to say, does she have a nose? But no, everything's backstitched and her face left. That's all that's left. So that's a lot of fun too. And this, I may bring this out. I am attempting to do categories this month for Whip Warriors. Whip Warriors is a Facebook group that's currently closed, but we are rapidly approaching the end of November when they do open up for the, and they open up once in the year, and then you have a chance to join. And those are it's a challenge, basically, challenge group where you do different challenges in order to move your projects along. And I have not been great about some of the challenges. I've been doing good. I did a bunch of finishes and stuff because I forget the before pictures. I did something that you're going to see that would have worked for categories, but I forgot the before picture. So it'll have to get another set of stitching. But the letter for categories this month is V. And I'm wondering, like, there's one of the categories is man-made, and that looks like a vial, V-I-A-L, I think. I think that's what you would kind of call. I know it can be a bottle too, so I have to look to see if I can classify it as that. So if that's the case, then I will pull this one out again for the challenge and get a little bit more time on it. I might actually next time kind of do this. I do like to get those completed as soon as some of this other stuff is done. It just kind of finishes out it a little bit. So that's Alice. Yay. Nowhere near a finish at all. I mean, I don't even know if it'll be a 2025 finish, maybe, but I would say 2026 might be a bit more, oh boy, what's the word? It's a silly word. It's a simple word too. Manageable. That might have been the word. I'm not sure. All right, next one here. The next one is digital, so I'm just looking for it real quick. Here we go. This one is the piece that was my 1 of 4 piece for the week, and that is Fish and Chips by Long Dog Samplers. So once a month, 4 pieces get a week's worth and a minimum of 500 stitches. And this one got, I think it just got 500 stitches, but this week was kind of messed up because I was out of town for a few days. And sometimes that's all, as long as I get to the 500, I feel good because that's 500 a month each of these pieces is getting. And it's just moving it along each little time. Now I am stitching this a little bit lighter fabric than what was shown there. I think that's neat too on a dark fabric. And I looked at so many fabrics. This one here is an 18 count. It was a special for Black Friday. There was a set of 3. It was a blue-green pack from Dying for Cross Stitch. So I don't know if she'll do the same thing this year or not. But as soon as I saw it, I said, yep, that's it. And I am using DMC Floche. And I think it's just white because I do think there is a B5200 Floche as well. And let's see. Have I cut this one? I have, but oh, the inside is coming undone. The little label is coming undone. So I have already, I've already prepped this floche. And that one was Blanc. So this is prepped. This is what it looks like. So that'll be ready to go once. I'm still working on the first kind of hank of it that I messed up and got all knotted. And for any back stitch, I am just using white Sulky. So here I am. What did I work on? Oh, over here. All over here. So now we have the people, the person on top plus the two here. And I think this is, look at the little doggy. Where's the little doggy? Right there. So I focused on this area. This one I actually was able to use for categories, and I did remember a before and after picture. I just had to upload it for form of travel and vessels, which are, well, are there any? Yeah, actually, there are some here. You don't actually have to stitch on what the piece is, but there's so many ships, multiple ships on here, so I figure I'm covered with that. I just really like this one quite a bit. So with the floche, it's one stranded, and on 18 count, I do like how it looks. And I like the feel of it because it's a little thicker, obviously, the one strand, than say the regular 6-strand DMC. So I'm finding I'm having a little trouble with one stranded stitching, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But with the floche, not so much, because it does feel more substantial in my hands. I have a lot of digitals to show you this week, so I just have to find them in my list here. And sometimes they look different because I've changed the fabric color, so they look vastly different. Now this one was a car stitch, and I got a good what I thought a good chunk of stitching in. This is, I believe it's called, oh gosh, I think it's Christmas Band Sampler. But I could be completely wrong on that. If you go in the description box, I list all the projects I talk about, and I list them in the order I've talked about them in the video. So just scroll down to the third project and you'll see it. I think it's Christmas Band Sampler, but don't hold me to it. It is charted by Lost in Stitches. That's Lisa, and Lisa has a Flosstube, and actually she has a video out, and I am so behind. So I have not watched her video yet. I feel like everybody is saying they're so behind because there's so many good floss tubes out. But anyway, Lisa recently had a video come out if you want to watch her. But she also has an Etsy shop, and this piece is in there. It's a lot of fun to stitch. Right now, it's a monochromatic piece for me. Obviously, it will not be in the end. It's mostly the red. I am stitching it. Did I change what Lisa had called for? I'm using 8/16, and I can't remember off the top of my head. Let me see if I can see. Nope, she did say 8/16, and I did like the 8/16 on my fabric. So here's what I have. This is 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. I do like this green. It's a very, well, I've seen it a couple different versions because obviously sometimes dye lots change for fabrics as well as flosses. Sometimes it's a little bit more brownish green. This time it's just kind of there as green. I don't even know a better way to describe it to you. I was able to get all the way down, and these little chunks are quite a bit. So all I have left on this section is, to fill this side, and then there's these little guys. So it's actually pretty quick. I found a rhythm that worked really well. I was a little stoppy and starty and fitsy up here, and then I figured out do half of it and then come back and do the other half, and that went so much faster. So I will probably finish that first. I don't know if I'll do the whole outside before I go to the inside. There's a pretty heart that I was really tempted to start. See right up there. And so I might end up doing a few of those. I don't know if I'll do the whole red. I could do all red and then throw the green in. I'm not sure. I think there's 4 colors to this. There's the one red, there's 2 greens, and a black. So much fun to stitch. This was a really great car stitch just because, especially once I was in the rhythm, and I had this whole inside line to do. So that was quick and easy stitching. So I got quite a bit accomplished. We had an over 6-hour car ride. So I spent half the time on this project and half on another one I'll show you. And I got lots and lots of stitches. So if you've thought about this for a Christmas piece, let me know if you're stitching it, or if you've stitched it, I would love to see it. or come and join me and stitch it with me. You know I love having other people stitching the same things as me. And the good news for you is I have something like 80, 90 whips. I'm not even sure how many projects I have. I don't count until I get to the end of the year whip parade. So odds are you could start now and probably finish it before me. I don't put a lot of pressure on my finish times, to be honest. All right, this next one. This was started last September, so I wanted to bring it out again. The hashtag is Librarian Sampler Sal. This is Librarian's house, and it is from Stone. Is it Stonehouse Stitch? Oh boy. There's the two, Stone Street Stitchworks. Now, this is the original, and I am changing it. And the exciting part is that I did get to the house. Remember, I had to pull it out because I decided I wasn't going to do, I was changing all the colors. I had done this whole top part and decided I didn't want to do that. I wanted to model it off the Noah Webster house. And so if I go and show you, that's the Noah Webster house. So in the original pattern, there's windows up here in the roof. As you'll see, I decided not to stitch them. And then I think I'll find that the door is kind of like an evergreen, hunter green door. So I will find something that will do that. And the color of the red, the 221 that all the red is in, I'm going to use for the house. I think it's perfect. Now, in the design, there's another row of a different color of floss to outline the house, the windows, and the door. But if you notice in Noah Webster's house, they don't have that. It's the same color. It just kind of popped out. So I'm either going to look on my DMC chart and find something that is almost exactly the same, just slightly different, maybe darker, and put that there, or just do it with just the one color and not have anything surrounding, you know, kind of like window sills or door sills kind of thing. Just have it as is. So that's where I am. This is a really lovely piece to stitch. There's so many little pieces that it's really fun to stitch. Stone Street, I really like Stone Street's patterns. I do have a tendency to change a lot of the colors at times, but the overall pattern is always so pretty. Now, as you can see, I didn't do any more of the outline of the border is actually, I made it into like 939, a deep, deep navy rather than the called for. And I didn't do any more of that. Oh, that's just fluff. I thought I had a stain on there. But what I did do first was I did 3 more hearts because I'm finding that this part's so much fun. The border, not so much. So I need to make myself do some of the border. And this time it was the hearts because I have hearts to do everywhere. And then around all of them, as you can see, there's little green bits as well. So there's a lot yet to do on the border. And if I leave it to the end, I'll never stitch it. So I did that first. And then I decided I thought about going down here, but I said, no, I want to tackle the house and then just work my way down because everything up here is done. So you can see I ended up, whatever color the house is, I did the chimneys in. I think that's close enough with what the original house is. If you were interested in Noah Webster, he is actually the Merriam-Webster library. He is the, not library, and dictionary. He's basically the father of the dictionary. His parents were actually librarians. He lived in multiple places, but this house here that I'm modeling after is in West Hartford, Connecticut, which is where I lived for years and years and years. And they have some great programs if you're in that area for kids in the summer. Anyway, so I decided then, I found whatever color. I think this brown might already be in the pattern. So I don't think I had to pull anything else with it. And then now we're going to start on the house. But before I do that, I'll probably do some more hearts. There's one heart out of all of these that is wrong. I did one little thing wrong on it, and I'm actually going to keep it as opposed to redoing it. I'm like, it's just going to be a little personalization. I did change, I added the blue. That's not in the original pattern. I changed some of the greens. I made the birds more of like a charcoaly gray. So there's quite a bit that I changed. It's not a like for like, but it in some cases is very, very close. Now, did I tell you 18 count Darling David from those missing stitches? Lynn also, and I did get to watch Lynn's. I'm going to write down Lynn. Lynn also does a Flosstube, which is a lot of fun. So I'm going to write down her to link her. And I have got her shop linked. If you go all the way down to the bottom of the description box, her shop is linked under my favorite fabrics. So there you go. One last look at this. This is, I think you know by now, I'm not a traditional sort of sampler stitcher, but I consider this, is it actually called? No, it's just called Librarian's House. I'm considering it a sampler-ish sort of item, so it is one of 9 that I did want to bring out for hashtag Sampler September. So in September, I know I've heard people talk about Sampler September, Sunflower September, and Spooky September. So I'm going to try to do at least one piece for all of them. Spooky will be easy. In fact, I have one to show you this week. But, and Sampler, I have a new start to show you this week. Sunflower, I do have something I bought that'll probably go for that, which means a new start. Oh, darn, I have to start something new. Anyway, there it is. All right, let's move on. Lots of projects, and I'm talking about them too much. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And once I figured out, because I didn't know what to do with the house, once I figured out I kind of want it modeled after Noah Webster, it all just fell into place really nicely. This got some work, not a ton. September's Morning Glory from My Garden. It's My Garden Journal 12. It was a yearly thing from Cottage Garden. Really way back now. I mean, well, way back in relation to 2013. So I don't know if this was one of their first kind of 12-month things or what, but there's one for each month, and I got all of them started, a few of them finished. This is not going to get done in 2024. It'll be a 2025 finish, I believe. I know I changed something with the browns, and I can't figure it out because I didn't write it down. I'm not sure why I didn't do that, but I've concentrated a lot on the flowers because I don't know exactly what I did. I'm leaving that for now, and I'm going to concentrate and do some flowers. So I might do this section this month. A lot of times I do the words and over here, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to do the Morning Glories over there. And I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this A because I haven't decided what color I'm going to do the words in. So if I'm going to change them out, I'll have to pull that out. So we'll see. This is also done on Friendship Green, 18 count from Fabrics by Stephanie. Could be from the same piece, I'm not sure. They look very similar. So there you go. That one, I don't necessarily bring them out every single week in the course of the month, but that will get at least once or twice more this month. So you'll see some more of that. Now this one you see every day, every week. I see it every day, and it will be because there's a deadline on this one. I am stitching this. Ooh, and Mo is playing pickleball right now, so I don't have to whisper. This is being stitched for Mo, my husband. If you're new, we will be married 25 years, September 25th. Oh, wow. Look at that. Is there... Interesting. I know that when you turn a certain year on your birthday, they call that something like golden birthday or something. I don't know if there's one with anniversaries. Anyway, Aston Villa is his favorite football club, soccer club for those of us in the US. And so we have Peacock and Paramount because not only do we have to see them play each week, they are in the Champions League this year. So we have to make sure we see those games too, of course. So that I don't have it written down exactly, and I can't do searches because we share all that search stuff. So once I give this to him, I'll be able to to give the final information if you are looking for it. If you Google, there's not many things available, so it wouldn't be hard to find. Not every club is on this. It basically was a blog that did a whole bunch of free ones. And this is an old, I think they're called badges. I'm not 100% sure. This is too old now. There was one change that apparently everybody hated, and now there's a new one that looks similar to this that everybody is good with. But I don't have those. I went with this one. I am stitching this in Sulky, and I'm stitching it on 20 count because I didn't want it to be a big piece. And of course it's not, but it would have been fine on 18 count, but I didn't know exactly what size it was going to be. So I ended up doing this, and it's going to be cute. It could be a cute little I wonder if 5 by, like a 5 by 3.5 or something might work. If you want the colors of the Sulky, I can certainly get them to you. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm actually really pleased. I was able to match the colors pretty exactly. I basically pulled the Sulkies. Mo has a jersey. I put them against the jersey and they matched really nicely. And so there you go. I am using one strand on the 20 count of the Sulky. And I'm finding I'm a much slower stitcher with one strand. I can stitch pretty quick, not super fast. I'm not lightning fast, but I can go at a pretty good pace with 2 strands. But one, my time gets cut completely down. I mean, at this point, all I'm doing is the blue. All I have to do is fill all this in, and I'm making myself do at least 150 stitches a day. If I can get to 200, I am. And that's taking me way longer than if I was to do 150 to 200, say a monochromatic piece on something else. And I don't even have to look at a pattern anymore. I mean, I'm literally just filling in. So I don't know why, but it's making me rethink, you know, the 3 Carolyn Manning pieces I'm doing that were the little birthstone. They were going to be Christmas ornaments. They're all done on 20 count with 1 strand of DMC. And I haven't touched them in a while, and I wasn't 100% enjoying them. And the 1 strand, I think, is it, to be quite honest with you, which is so funny because I hear so many people talking about how much they love single strand stitching. And I apparently seem to be the opposite. So that's what it looks like. And each week you're just going to see more blue filled in at this point. On the piece that I showed you, I did take out the word and I moved the lion, I assume it is, down a bit. So still plugging along. That would be either just like a leaner, or if I could find just a cool frame or something or other. I have to measure it out. And hopefully Mo can put it on the shelves in his office. Okay, I did 1 full coverage piece. I hadn't done any, well, I had company and everything else. And so I decided I was going to pull this one out, and this would be my September focus. So I do like to pick a full coverage, and for the entire month, stitch about 100 stitches a day on it. And right now I'm just basically picking 1 color because I'm on the sky, and I just do the 100 and then I move on for a lot of times I do this in the evening because it's on Pattern Keeper and I'm able to see the computer better that way than, say, paper charts as the evening rolls around and it gets not quite as bright. So this is Laszlo Cod. I believe it's number 1, and it is artwork by Laszlo Cod, and it's charted by Stitches So Beautiful. There are maybe 14, 15 of Laszlo's pieces that have been charted by Stitches So Beautiful. You can find them both on Etsy, and they have their own standalone site. And so there's lots to choose from. They're very whimsical. Some of them are these bright colors, some are different colors. If you look closely at a lot of them, there may be like a pig in the tree or something or other. This one here was the colors was what really drew me. It's not quite as silly as some of the other ones, but I think they're all kind of neat. I'll be lucky just to get this one stitched. There's a few more that I would like to. There's one that's more like blues, whites, and purples. It's more of a winter scene, but I don't know. Too many things to stitch. So that's what it looks like. It will eventually look like. Now, I got a little nervous because I think I had this piece of fabric and I ended up just not cutting it down to size. this is where I am at the moment. Let me fold this a bit. This is 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. So that's entirely where I am. I didn't do anything on this side, so I'm going to fold that over for a minute. My goal this time around, I picked this up on the 2nd, which was Monday. So it's had, you know, maybe a little bit more than 400 because I was able to get a couple nights. I think Mo and I were watching TV, and so I was just kind of working on this one. But I keep moving this along. I think I don't know how much of this I even had, and I think I did some filling over here, but I pretty much got this. Now, I was looking at the chart, and I was getting near the end. I probably have about this more to get to the corner, which you know is something I like to do. I like to do my corners to make sure my fabric's good. And I got really nervous thinking, did I skip a section? Is there something wrong? Did I accidentally put the fabric the wrong way? But I knew it was up and down, and that's bigger that way. So I actually ended up recalculating. I pulled out the stitch count. I pulled out my big ruler. And I think what happened was this piece of fabric I just had already cut for something else that I didn't do, or it was just the end of something else that had been cut. And I just grabbed it thinking, I have extra. So once I figure out where this is going, I might end up cutting this off because this would be good. You know what I'd like to do is I'd like to do some of those full coverage little mini masterpieces. If you see, Amy from Renewing Stitches has done a bunch. I'll link Amy below. And then Nicole from Stem X Stitch, she hasn't done a video in a while. She's got a lot of life stuff going on. She's fun to follow. I follow her on Instagram to see all the good stuff happening in her life right now. But she did a whole bunch as well. And I really like those. So I'm thinking I might cut this off and then I'd have a whole bunch of extra that I could do those little guys with. But the long and the short is I do have enough. Yay. I have a little too much. But I don't think I've messed up because all I could think was, did I somehow mark something off or skip something? And then obviously everything is off. And there's a good amount done on this. I didn't look at the percentage. It's funny. I have it on Pattern Keeper and it shows you the percentage, but I very rarely look at it. I think I did write it down for the beginning of the month because sometimes I do look at that beginning and end. I did. So at the start on September 2nd, it was registering at 5.54%. And then I won't look at that again until the end of the month probably and see where I'm at. So, but that's it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to the corner and get that done right there. And then triple check again to make sure this is right before I start going any more in. If there was anybody that measures twice, cuts once, that's me. But measure 4, 5 times, cut once is basically a lot more of what's realistic in my sense. I really, really, really measure so many times. Okay, next. This is one that I was hoping I could get towards a finish. This month, there's a lot of stitching. It comes from the 2023 Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. And it's this one right here. If I didn't have it open to the page. I love the back where they give you what page. If you look real quick and see, it gives you the page of everything. And this is such a bright fabric that it's easy to find. So that's the pattern right there. It's called Nobody is Home. And it is charted by L. Noonan of Stitch Sprout. And this was my other car stitch. Yes, I did this one first. I got a chunk of it done. No, it wasn't. Nope, I take that back. I did do a little bit of this on Saturday, but I had almost no time to stitch on Saturday. I think I got 85 stitches on the whole entire day. And then I did some this week. That's right. This is 18 count ectoplasm and it's from Oblong Meow. And I've reconstructed the house a little bit. When I was doing, I did a little bit of car stitching on Saturday because we were going to, had a little bit of a drive to get to family, for a family event. And I decided I was going to do all the black, I think. I wanted to try to get all the black stitch, which I think it might be done now. And I was coming down here and I realized that this bottom step, which I had already started stitching, was way farther out. And I looked and I had, for some reason, I had started it much earlier here, close to the edge than it should have been. So all I did then was I replicated that there. So it's looking at it, there's a bit of almost depth to it because you've got the, you know, how you're looking at it and the way it's sized. And I decided I was going to keep it. I wasn't going to pull that. So I did all of the black stitching and then I filled in all of this purple right here. And then I think this might be just one color. So then I'll have to go back and fill that in. And yeah, so there's quite a bit yet because I have all of that to do. The ghosts have some multiple colors. Then I have some clouds up here. So my hope had been a September finish, but I think that hope is kind of going a little bit by the wayside. But it's a cute, fun little stitch. I think I would make this one. I might make this one into a little leaner. And just have it like lean against things. That honestly, if I'm not making it kind of ornamenty or in a scrapbook, I do like leaners. I also don't sew, so a lot of sews there. Which limits, I don't do pillows. I don't really have bowls to put pillows in. I have different items that have been gifted to me and I can put them in a few places, but for myself to make pillows, I generally don't do it. All right, next, this was the other car stitch. That's right, because this is monochromatic. Well, I'm making it monochromatic. This is Spring Awakens. It's from Summer House Stitchworks. I have all 4 of the seasons and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make them all monochromatic. I'm going to use the same floss and change out the fabrics like I did with Jardin Privé. Now, Jardin Privé fabrics were bright. I'm doing some of the similar fabrics, color schemes, but I'm doing them in a more pastel for these. And the floss I ended up using, now it is set, it just looks kind of rat's nesty, but it is also floche and it is 319 floche. So that's the prepared piece of floche. And I think I have another kind of hank of it because I'm 4 of these pieces to do with the one floss. And that's where I am. So I did this one first, got a nice chunk of stitching in, a good chunk of stitching, and then I went over to the Christmas band sampler. I was probably about here. I got all of that done. I finished, the bird had quite a bit left to do, so I did all of that as well. A couple of the little stray things. I don't think I did any border this time. I had been kind of putting this off because I'm not carrying this. This is from Fabric Flare, Dove Stitch, but it's a Fabric Flare. It's a printed, and it's pretty easy to see through. I'm not sure if you can tell that. This is called Hush Pink. So I didn't want to carry this dark green thread as much as I can help it. So each row had to be done separately, stopping and starting. So I was kind of putting it off, but I was sitting in the car. There's nothing else to do, nowhere to go. I said, let's get that all done. And I'm really proud of myself, which is great because guess what? I have to do it all over again on the other side. So I hope I found a rhythm groove that will really work over here as well. But I decided I like the pictures, but I have trouble seeing them this way. There's something about my eyes that has trouble seeing and then registering, and it almost hurts my eyes when it gets really light. I don't know why. And so I said, I really like these, but I can't stitch them as is because it just was uncomfortable for me. So I decided to just go with the monochromatic. We do have a hashtag. It's hashtag monochromatic Monday. Fish and Ships got my stitching on Monday for monochromatic, but any of these that I have would work. I love monochromatic. It is one of my favorite things to do. I don't get bored, to be honest with you. I just find it very meditative and relaxing. So that's where it is. And that'll just keep plugging along. This one came out because I needed something for the car, and I thought it would be a really great one for that. Obviously, it's a spring piece. I had grand plans of starting all of them on the start of the seasons, and that is since I've decided that's not going to work. So I'm just going to do maybe this one for now and then figure out when I'm going to start some of the other ones. I don't have the fabrics figured out for those yet anyway, so not that I don't have up. I'm looking at my fabric stash over there. I have a huge amount of options. And you know, I'm always up for fabric, so I don't think that would be a problem. Okay, so that was the stitching up to when AB Single started, and that started on September 1st. I have no idea what today's call is. I am not planning ahead. I've made my board, and I didn't bring my challenge notebook. I'll have to bring that maybe next week just to kind of show you. I've made the board, and when Carolyn sees Zook Stitch, she pulls the letter the night before. It's after 9 o'clock my time, so I generally don't bother looking. I just looked in the morning. And then I'd say, okay, this is the letter. Let me figure out what I want to stitch. And that's when I choose. So it's always a surprise to me each day. And I am trying to do different ones so that 25 pieces get touched for just AB Single plus anything else that might get touched this month. The first letter was X. And so I went with Xmas, which I think a lot of people did. I mean, anything technically, because you're making X's, so you can officially do it with start and stop photos. I'm not. I'm doing it. I'm playing along, but I'm not playing along for prizes or anything. So I was going to say they're pretty open. It's kind of like my I Spy. I'm pretty open with it. If you can make a case for it, go for it. But I don't even have to prove anything because I'm not putting it on the Facebook page. But I think a lot of people even just used making X's. But I went with Xmas. Christmas Eve is the actual name of the pattern from the Prairie Schooler. And this is slow going, but it's just because it's just me. If I really sat down on with this one, I could probably get this one done by Christmas. And maybe as we get closer to Christmas, I'll focus more. I'm not doing the words down here, so there's going to be a huge swath of white stitching. That's going to take me probably forever. But you know, that is the way it is. I really like this fabric. This is 18 count chinchilla, and it is from Mystic Fabrics. And the white really, that looks nice on it. There's, especially in person, I don't know if it's picking it up so much on the camera, but there's a whole bunch of snowflakes that still have to be stitched, and they're going to look fine on this fabric. I was so close. My focus was to try to get this reindeer done, and he's just missing a leg. I thought I had done it. Yeah, he's just missing that one leg. And then they both, their eyes, there's one stitch for each of their eyes that I haven't done. But so close. And then I can start down here. The village part that's fun to stitch because it's little pieces and it's smaller than it really. So it's not very big. I'm not doing, I think there's supposed to be like smoke coming out of the chimneys. I'm not bothering with that either. And I started with the writing and I kept changing my mind on the colors, and I just didn't like how it looked. So that'll just be all white there in the end. So this one I need to bring out more. I don't have a ton of Christmas pieces, but some of them, like Christmas Town, just have so much left to do on them. Whereas this one's a possible finish. So I need to just buckle down on that. Next, so the next letter was I, and every time I comes up for a challenge for the acrostics, one of you had suggested I stitch on Ireland, and such a great idea because I'm getting closer and closer to the end. So I just need to pull it out every time there's an I. And so I did this time. Now I'm not stitching the word, I'm just stitching the actual picture. This, I had done really well up here, and then because I was doing the paper, I was able to get it onto Pattern Keeper, and that was a game changer for me because I was having a lot of trouble. There was the 4 corners of the pattern, and I just wasn't stitching it. But as soon as I put it in Pattern Keeper, this time around, what I did was I think I picked this green. I did change one of the greens. I think it was 166 and I've changed it to 471, I think, because I wanted something that was not quite as bright neon in your face. 166. What's 166? This might be the 166, and I decided I didn't want that. Versus 471 is a little bit more green. So I went with that instead. But other than that, everything is called for. I was going to change all the greens. And then as I started to stitch it, I said, oh, maybe I can just adjust it a little bit. This is 18 count champagne and is from Hand Dye by Rolanda. And we're just plugging along. Like I said, for AB single, your requirement is 100 stitches, basically, start and finish. And you could do the start and finish pictures and all that. I'm giving myself a minimum of 100, but I'm trying to get these pieces to 200 because that's what they're going to get this week. So I'd like to get them a little bit more. And I was able to, every single one of the pieces I pulled out for AB single was able to go over 200 stitches. So that's what that one is. This one will just keep coming out for challenges. And at this point now, it's a little bit easier with Pattern Keeper. I just pick that color and I go. So it's a little bit more relaxing. Now this is the one, if I had done a before picture, I would have one of my categories finished. One of the categories is designer, and there's not a lot of V's, but there's Vivsters. And I think that's why I pulled it out to begin with, which is the funny part. And I didn't do the before picture. This is the U.S. Quaker flag. You'll see quite a few of them stitched. One of the people doing it most consistently is Karen, the Stitching Owl. Let me write down Karen's name. Karen is Canadian and is doing the Canadian flag, and she has set herself a goal to get a certain amount accomplished each, I think it's week, not month, and she's really plugging along nicely. But there's U.S. flags, there's Australia, Canada. I mean, you could get any country. I'm just thinking of the ones I've seen recently stitched. There was a stitch along that started in January of this year. It's hashtag 2024 Quaker flag, Sal. So you could probably see all sorts of countries at that point. Now let me pull this out. What did I do? Honestly, I did a border. I decided that who was I watching? Oh gosh, I watched somebody and they have all of these squares done. It's escaping me. It was this week too. I don't remember now who it was. But they actually have all of it. So I figured, you know what? I'm going to do some and get some more of these done. And I also then did some fill in a blue. So it won't to you look much different, but I did get a few hundred stitches in and got some more along the way. I really like this gray. It's gray blue. So right now here, that's looking more gray than it is. I don't know if I bring it up. It depends on the light. If you look at it in one light, it's mostly gray, but it's a bluish gray, I would say, because I was asked about that and I don't have a great answer for you. This is 18 count. Of course, other colors may dye differently. This is, what is this? 18 Brave Boromir from those missing stitches. And I really like it because I like my grays to be on the blue side, on the cooler side, rather than more of the yellowish warm. And so they're my favorites when it comes to gray. This is as far down as it'll go. I have no idea how far over on this fabric it will go. That's part of why I was thinking, oh, I should just keep doing the squares and then I can fill in whichever ones I want. So not a lot to see, but you will see it again this month if I want to get that category from Scattergories done. And this time, you know what I might do is I might just take a picture of it today. So because now that's the before, and then when I get to stitch on it again. I don't really keep pictures of all my projects in my phone. So I don't do before and afters very often. I don't have the room on my phone, to be honest with you. And I don't know. I just feel like it just takes up a lot of space. Alrighty. Where's this next one? I would have started it probably, this might have been started last October for my pumpkin birthday, Sal. So let's see, that would be about right there. Oh, that's right, it's a different color. This is, I think it's Happy Halloween, whether or not it's called Happy Halloween Pumpkin Party. Oh, it is Happy Halloween Pumpkin Party from Jardin Privé. I am a huge fan of Jardin Privé. I like them quite a bit. I'm not sure I'm going to do the words pumpkin party. I'm going to do everything else but and see if it needs it. What I might end up doing is sticking that little bird on the greenery over here, and then I might flip the bat and have him flying over here somewhere. So add a few pieces, or it could be just fine the way it is. You know me, I'm a fairly minimalist when it comes to a lot of this things stitching wise. So I'm okay when there's some kind of open space. And that's where I am. This is 18 count Ice Queen from Bestitch Me. Another nice kind of blue with gray tinges, I suppose. This one might go on the other. That other one was probably gray with blue tinges, and this might be more blue with gray tinges. I am still plugging along on this big swirly. I got the letter N done and that part of the swirl. I got all of this because I really wanted to start that middle pumpkin. So this pumpkin is white, and in person the white really pops. I'm not sure if you can see it as well on the screen, but it's also going to have a green and an orange pumpkin on either side of it. So you're gonna be able to see it. Really nice to stitch. I enjoy stitching on this one. It's just amazing how much stitching there is. And I put this one out. Oh, this was, H was pulled. So Happy Halloween. And this goes towards Spooky September. So it was 2 for 1 there. And yeah, so that, I do like this one. I don't know if it could be a finish by the end of this October, which would make it a year. We'll see. Okay, I have 2 more to show you. And the new start I've kept to the end. This next one was for the call on yesterday. Yes, yesterday the call was you. And so I ended up saying umbrella. And I could have done a beach umbrella, which I thought about. But Mary Poppins is flying with her umbrella. So I said, how perfect is that? This is the Lena Ova pattern, and it's Mary Poppins. I am not stitching this entire outer border. I'm only doing the inner border and then the pieces within that picture. And yes, it is monochromatic as well. I think I'm just using, am I using just 939 on that? Let me see. What am I using? Yes, 939. I thought this bag was kind of pretty because it matched color-wise. Here we go. And ironically enough, I brought this yesterday. The needlework group in my community here met, and there was only 3 of us. It wasn't really a group, but it was very nice. We usually meet for like an hour and a half and do, I think there was crochet, 2 crocheters and me yesterday. And I actually worked on the umbrella. That hadn't been done yet. So I said, how perfect is that? That's right there. You don't have to, but hey, why not? I think this fabric is going to be so pretty. There is a hashtag on this one. It's hashtag Lena Ova Sal. If you'd like to join along on any of the Lena Ova pieces. Some of them I do want to stitch the borders. Some I don't. This one I just really liked the inner. And I mean, look at this inner border. How fun is that? So I kind of wanted that to be the focus. The flowers are super pretty and all, but I feel like it might just have taken away from it. Plus, it would make it much huger. This is 18 count. It is from Under the Sea Fabrics, and it's called Uranus. And it was a fabric of the month this year. So it's not available in the store. It's a beautiful color, you know, with the blues, with kind of like that darker, subtle modeling. So I would really like this if she put this in her shop. I think this would go with a lot of things. Anything under the sea, I think, would be perfect with it. Look at it. Because it has movement with the modeling. So this was, you know, this is always a lot of fun. I got my stitching in. I was able to get my 2. Now, see, monochromatic, I only stitched on this during needlework, which is about an hour and a half. and I think I got 236 stitches. So I was just plugging along. It was on Pattern Keeper, and I know some of you would stitch much faster than that in an hour-and-a-half period, but I thought that was pretty good. Just kept rethreading the needle. And it's 2 strands, so I love it. I really enjoy stitching this. This is one of my 4 monthly pieces. It won't be this coming week because I switched the Quaker spring and summer with the 2 monochromatic pieces. So I think Summer Quaker might be the one on tap, and then this one is the one after that. So in 2 weeks' time, you'll see this one. And the very last piece is a new start for myself. Hey, it is a new month. I seem to start things, where's the floss? I seem to start things a lot more at the beginning of the month. I feel like it's a new month and I'm really just jazzed about starting and just do. So this one is Sampler Seasons Autumn. So this also counts for Sampler September. And it is from Blueberry Ridge Design. They're actually all 4 seasons are available. I only have this one, but you know I love a good seasonal collection. So you know winter, spring, and summer are going to make their way to me at some point. I'm not going to do them as any cohesive collection like I'm doing some of the other seasonal ones. I think I'm just going to let whatever happens and what moves me work on that. So I had shown this actually on both my Facebook page, which is Stitching by the Shore, if you're interested, and my Instagram, which is Paper Laura. And I showed it as this is what I was going to start. So that right there, this is Fire Lily from Stitchy Stuff Co. I haven't cut it apart yet. I haven't done that yet. I have to do that. But I just thought that was pretty against this brown. And something like this brown, I wouldn't necessarily know what to use it for, but I thought that would work for autumn, especially to kind of show off this color. So that's what I did. And here's what I have. That's my start. Just do that. So there we go. I didn't give this a huge amount of time. This was just one day a stitching session, but I thought that was pretty good. And you can see the variegation. I am not doing strict, all the strict rules to get the most out of the variegation because I like subtle variegation. I don't like huge amounts and jumps for myself, especially when there's things to read or whatever because my eyes can't read that. But I thought there's a nice, good variety of the variegation there, so that'll go nicely. So that's where I am. And I will continue to stitch on this month. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun stitching on that one, so you will definitely see some more of that. So that's the first of my September starts. I had 3, I think, that I talked about, and then there's a few other unscheduled ones that need to get done. So that is the stitching. Let's talk about plans. Alrighty. If you will remember, a few weeks ago, I talked about how Just Cross Stitch magazine and I did a little collaboration, and I did a quick little video about 2 choices of what to stitch on in this magazine. This is this year's, the 2024 Just Cross Stitch magazine. So the choices were the Raven, which is, oh, yeah, it should be in this. There it is. The Raven, right here. So the choice was between the Raven and the, let me hold them both up, and the Owl. And the Raven won quite handily, I have to say. Now, I know a lot of people had said maybe do one as like a Halloween stitch and one as an autumn stitch. I'm going to start the Raven first. So this will be a September start. And I would not be surprised in the least if I start this one for October. It's kind of got that pumpkin color fabric because I want to do a fabric that is like that, I think. I'm almost sure. So that could be a pumpkin birthday style. This one, I might do a different fabric. I might go grayer so that the white pops. My other option was to change the moon to more of a yellowy kind of color. Kind of a moon glow sort of thing. So it depends on the fabric I choose which way I go on that one. But this will be a new start this month. So yay, the Raven won. And I think I will put the words, because I also talked about in my flip through, you could do the part without the words if you wanted to, and just do the bird with the moon and all of that. You could actually even, you could cut, if you wanted to just do the bird, you could do the bird on the branch. I would do that bit and cut here, and you'd have a little thing right there. But anyway, lots, you know, I always kind of pick these things apart. But this will be a start this month. Yay. So if you were stitching this, let me know. If you want to stitch it with me, let me know, and we'll stitch the Raven. And keep an eye out. Maybe for October, you might see the owl. So that's the first plan. Then I'm just going to keep going with AB Single and get that going. I don't know what today's letter is, so that'll be a surprise after I film. And then I Spy, which is my challenge. A couple of my pieces were part of I Spy, and I can't remember off the top of my head which ones they were. If you are part of my Facebook group, if you go to the events section, you will see it there, and you can get all the info and the prompts. You don't have to be part of Facebook, though. If you go to my community tab, I list out information and the prompts there as well. So feel free just to go there. I never want you to feel like you're missing out because you're not on Facebook or anything. There's plenty of ways for us to all do this together if you don't want to be on that form of social media. So let me know if you're playing along. I would love to see some of your projects. And I did have, and I don't know if I'll start it this week or if I might pull out the stuff for the Raven. I did pull this. I talked about wanting to start this month. It's the Peacock Tree from Modern Folk Embroidery. And I think I'm going to use, I'll just do one of them. You don't need to see all of them. Kingfisher. It's a little bit different than what's shown here, but I kind of like this. And this is also from Stitchy Stuff Co. But I don't know. The only reason I'm unsure about it is I don't know what fabric I want to stitch it on, to be honest with you. Because I want something that's really going to show off this without necessarily doing it on just plain white Aida. But I don't want anything to conflict with this color because I think it's really pretty. And this is the monochromatic piece, so I really want that to shine. So that if I can't make up my mind, then this one might not be a start right away, because I might be like, I'll just do the Raven because I know I want to stitch that on either like a blue or a gray. So we'll see. So that's kind of the plans as it is. There's something else in shopping that I'll show you that will figure into plans at some point. And let's just go to shopping right now. I did get the fabric of the month from Under the Sea Fabrics, and it is called Bayou Bullfrog. I figure that name's not going to, if you want to be surprised, I don't think you're going to be able to guess it from the name. If you don't want to see, look away. I'm going to open this one up just a little bit because I'm going to show it now. I get 18 count, and that's what it looks like. Ooh. Oh, of course, there I stopped talking, and then my stomach growled. So if you heard that, you know that my stomach's saying, when's breakfast? Okay. Then the only other thing I got was I did do a small pre-order from Lindy Stitches. I ordered 3 charts, and along with the charts, I was sent as like a little extra. She sent a skein of Cosmo floss. It looks like it's black. Could always use black floss. A little sticker, which will go into my stitching planner. And then there was one freebie that was sent, and that is from, it's cute actually. It's from, where is it from? Sweet Wing Studio. And actually, I can just show you the little bit right here. And that would work for the pumpkin birthday stitch along if I wanted to stitch it then. So that's cute. And then the 3 things that I bought, this first one is Glenda's Garden and is from Artsy Housewife. And to be honest with you, this is what I want to stitch right there. They're up. I love that big bird on the house. This all is beautiful down here, but this is my main focus. So when I stitch it, that's what you're going to see. So there's that one. This one, I just was taken by it. I really liked it and said, you know what? I'm going to buy it. And it is from Quaternion Creations, and it's the Forest Goddess. I just thought that was really pretty. Something about it just caught my attention. So I got that one. And then the last one, which I knew I had ordered, it was the one I remembered ordering. It's the Sunflower Medley, and that is from Jan Hicks. So this is the Sunflower September piece that I was hoping to do. So that would also be a start now in September. And let me see. There's not much to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. She has a DMC alternative to the overdyes. She uses 3 different types of overdyes. So we'll see. I'll either use exactly what she calls for the DMC, or I could change it up a bit. And I could definitely see doing that. What does she do it on? Fox and Rabbit Ocean Air. Oh, yep, I have Ocean Air, but mine is not quite as blue as that because this is done on a 40 count. Mine's an 18. I'll do it on a blue probably, though. I do like it on the blue. That looks really pretty. So yeah, so this might be a start too if you'd like to start along with me. And I think the hashtag is it Sunflower September Sal? I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll have to look that up. If you are stitching sunflowers, check it out because you can be part of the stitch along. So that's my shopping. That's all I got for pre-orders. There were some more pieces. I really liked a couple of the Carolyn Mannings, but I would get those as digitals. What else did I see I was really tempted by? There was a few others I was tempted by, but I figured, I knew I wanted to start the Jan Hicks one, and the other ones were just really kind of cool and different. If I wanted something a little cool and different from some of my usual stitching, and then we'll just kind of go from there. It's not like I can't get them still. So that's that. Okay, I have one last reminder for my, how many subscribers? 6,000, was it 6,000? I don't even know, 5,000, 6,000, whatever the subscriber fun was. And I was giving away $20 gift certificates to 123 Stitch. I have not heard. This will be the last week, last call for J. Thomas 739. If I don't hear from you this week, I will pick a new winner for the $20 gift certificate to 123 Stitch. Last week, I totally forgot, right? So this week, I have 2 pieces of... this had been sent to me to do as giveaways, and so there's 2 pieces of it. So I figured, well, I might as well do 2 people. So we have 2. They're exactly the same. This is 30 count linen. I'll bring it up so you can see. And I will show you. I believe they're both the same size. So you can get some good stuff on there. So I've got 2 pieces of that. So I'm going to pull 2 names. If you say the word apple, I don't know about you, but a lot of the different people I follow that do, that I've, grab recipes from. If you're new to me, I'm vegan. So I definitely like to, there's a ton of resources, a lot of bloggers, and I've got cookbook. There's a lot of things out there, and there's a lot of fun people that I follow, and they are all starting to do apple recipes. So say the word apple in your comment somewhere, and I will pick 2 people for the fabric. 30 count linen. All right, that's that. Alrighty, that's all of the stitching. So if that's all you're here for, thank you so much for being here. And oh, let me show you. I was going to do a what's on my shelf kind of thing just to show you some pieces. This is my September Cottage of the Month from Cottage Garden Samplings. Right? No, Country Cottage Needleworks. Sorry, Country Cottage. I still have 2 or 3 of these I need to stitch, but I have all the ones from the end of the year. So September to December, I'm all set. So that's that piece right there. And when I say leaner, this is what I mean. So basically I keep it flat. I know people do, what are the, how you can do, I don't know what it's called when you have the little piece against it so it can stand up on its own. I just put it where I can lean against things. So I have that. And then I've been trying to show you some of my scrapbook pieces while we're at it too, because we might as well rotate. This one is a Satsuma Street. And it was, I think it's called Good Morning, actually. I just thought that rooster was a lot of fun. So that piece is up in my craft room. I have different shelves, on one, I have one shelf on one wall and one on another. So I've been taking to putting some of my scrapbook pieces, and I keep them in there. I am keeping it in its protective covering, so it stays protected and doesn't get banged up going in and out of the scrapbook. But it's just fun to have them out and I can see them on my shelves. So that's what's on my shelf. Okay, life. So last week, you know that my in-laws were with us, and they had come on a Friday, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of my tea. Actually, this is just lemon water. I just wanted warm water with lemon today. It's not so warm now. Whew, a little tart. But some days, you know what I mean? You just want something simple. I didn't even want like tea. So they came the last, I was filming when Mo was actually driving down with them. Not last week, but the week before. So they came on a Friday. They stayed for a week. And I talked about that in the last video. Lovely visit. But I filmed on Thursday afternoon, knowing that we were hitting the road Friday morning, which is what we did. And I mean, it was a 6-hour drive, not the longest we've ever had by any means, but it felt long. You know what I mean? It was just one of those that we just thought we were never going to arrive kind of thing. And of course, when you're going up to Connecticut, you hit Connecticut and the traffic is always bad. We went up through the Tappan Zee, and so we're up through Danbury for those of you in that area, the sawmill and all that. And that area is always got traffic. So, you know, here you are already in for a good 5 hours and you know you've got, or whatever, and you know you've got whatever left and you're stuck in traffic. So anyway, we got there safely. Mo and I actually went out for dinner that night, just an early dinner, light dinner kind of thing. And then we stayed at my in-laws for just the 2 nights that we were there. Saturday morning, Mo and I went and we visited my mom in the nursing home. She's looking good. I was kicking myself afterwards. I wanted to I should have gotten a picture with her because her and I haven't had a picture. And my mom has dementia. And so, but she only repeated a couple times. And I think more towards the end of the visit. I don't know if she was sometimes I think, you know, by the end, she's done visiting, you know what I mean? And then she kind of starts to repeat much more. But we took her outside. They have a really nice little kind of patio area, and they've got beautiful flowers. They do a wonderful job with the gardening there. And it was a nice day. It wasn't hot. It wasn't cold. And so we were able to sit out there with her that in the morning and do that. So that was really nice. And then my dad and my stepmom were up from Florida. And so we actually went, there was a really small family barbecue-ish thing that my dad and stepmom have three girls. So one of their houses, she was just having everybody together for just something really basic. And I hadn't seen my dad in several years because I saw the rest of the family last year, but dad needed back surgery. So I did not see him. So we got a chance to see everybody else since last year, and then dad since several years, dad and my stepmom. And so it was very low key, but it was nice, you know. They're all much younger than I am, so they're in a different stage of life. A lot of young kids. I would say the oldest is probably 12 down to almost 2. So lots of little kids running around, which is nice to see and to sit back and say, okay, I don't have to follow the kid, whichever little one anymore, all worried. I can just kind of enjoy them and whatever type of thing. So that's kind of fun too. And then we got up it was a little bit before 4 a.m. We hit the road at 4:10 a.m. It would be Sunday in the middle of the night, early Sunday morning. And when we do that, we're able to go the GW bridge. Otherwise, we don't go that way because traffic. And we actually had a really, really smooth sailing. I mean, we pulled in at 5 hours, so it was right after 9 o'clock here in Delaware. And so, I mean, people were still asleep for most of that morning. There was some traffic on the road, but not a lot. We were worried about it being a holiday weekend, which is why we didn't want to come home on Monday. We wanted to do on Sunday. I'm not sure we planned to leave quite that early in the day, but we did. And so, Sunday was very much a lazy day. My tummy was a little off Saturday night, traveling and just eating differently sometimes. So we kind of chilled and relaxed on Sunday. And we rewatched. So Aston Villa played on Saturday, but we were up in Connecticut and so on and so forth. So it's on Peacock, so you can rewatch the games. So that, of course, we rewatched Aston Villa on Sunday. So that was one of the things. So we kind of chilled there. And then Monday, Mo had off from work. He played pickleball in the morning. It was just a kind of a relaxing day. I'm not sure what else we did. We have been watching, if you have BritBox, we just saw that the new season, the second season of Trigger Point, is starting, might be this week. I'm not sure, maybe next week. And so we've been rewatching the first season this week. There's only 6 episodes. It's the British shows crack me up because you'll get like 6 episodes and then you're like, you're done. Wait a minute. Where's the rest of the season? So we've been rewatching that. That, if you are interested, the actress was also in Line of Duty, which is also a BritBox show, I believe. She plays actually a bomb. What do they do when they undo the bombs? It's not really disposal, sort of. I don't know. They're the ones that don't let the bombs go off. They basically undo them. And this season, and I don't know if the second season will be the same, if it'll do another kind of story arc, but the whole 6 episodes have a story arc of this group that are doing all sorts of bombings and so on and so forth, and they're trying to race to figure out who it is, as well as disarm the bombs and keep everybody safe in this. So we've enjoyed it. We've liked it a lot. I like to, when they do these streaming shows, I like to rewatch it a season before, just so that I know what's going on. Because it's like 2 years sometimes between seasons, and then you just don't remember what happened. So it's all starting to come back to me, but I'm enjoying watching it again. So that's what Mo and I have been doing at night, because we don't watch a lot of the same shows, but so when we do have one, we like to kind of hang out, watch a little bit together. Then I usually watch Flosstube or something else, and he goes and watches something else, and we're good to go. But if you're interested in that kind of show, I kind of like all of the different like police procedurals or kind of those type of shows. So and I really like that actress. I think she does a good job. I can't remember her name now at the moment, but so that's that. I had book club this week, and so we did that, and I think overall most people in my book club did like Holmes, Marple, and Poe, if you're interested in still reading it, by James Patterson. And I think I don't have it yet. This month, for next month's meeting, is None of This Is True. Does it Lisa Jewell maybe? I'm not sure. So if you're interested, or if you've read it, I would love to know, without spoilers, I would love to know what you thought of it. I'm going to try to pick that up from the library. I don't know if it's newer, if I'll have trouble getting it or not. I have to go and look and see. I try not to do it too soon because I want to read it closer to the meeting so that I remember what's happening. But I would love to know your opinions on that if you've read it. All right, so that's about it. It's a little kind of cloudy here today, but the weather's been beautiful this week. It's been kind of cool-ish in the mornings, and then kind of warms up nicely-ish during the days. So it's been really nice in that sense. And no idea what's going on this weekend. Just gonna take it as it comes. But I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. I hope all is going well for you as we jump into September. I can't believe it. September is here. I love summer, so I'm not jumping for joy that I enjoy autumn. I despise winter, as I've said before. So that's why it's always kind of bittersweet to see. I enjoy the autumn, but I know it's coming. And I like the summer. I like the warmth. I like the sun. I like all of that. So I know I'm in the minority. I've seen all the people so excited with the pumpkin spice and all of that, and fall and autumn and all of that kind of fun stuff. But I don't know. that's what makes everything wonderful. We all can like different things. Anyway, that's about it. What did I see? Oh, I saw a pumpkin spice espresso martini. I'm not, Megan and Liz like to kind of rate espresso martinis, and they, different places. And there's a place down here that they think that they had them that is supposedly one of the best. And apparently, that for this month, I think they're doing pumpkin spice espresso martinis. So I told the girls, and they're like, "Oh, yum!" So if they come down in September, we know what they'll be trying. And I don't know, I wasn't sure about it, but like Mo said, there's pumpkin spice coffees and espressos. That's basically coffee, right? So I don't know if you've ever had one, or if you're a pumpkin spice person. They're out there apparently. I don't live for pumpkin spice. I don't go out of my way looking for pumpkin spice anything. If it happens to fall in my lap, great. But otherwise, I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you. But that's it. All right. As we all like to say, we're rambling here at the end, and it's time to go. I am going to get this hopefully uploaded and most definitely get some breakfast in so that my stomach stops rumbling. So until next time, I hope you're well. Please take care of yourself. Take time for yourself. Remember, you are important. And so what you like to do is important. So take that time, please, please, please. And until next time, happy stitching.